Why isn't it? What I don't understand is why it's not transitioning over.
Because I can see he's got it correct on here.
There we are. Okay. It seems to be working now. Well, hello, friends.
Are we back? Oh my goodness. Twitch, let me tell you, Logan, as someone who has just started streaming, I know exactly what you're feeling right now. So we love you. We're here for you. The internet, it can be a crazy technical place right now. Crazy technical place. Like,
you know what?
And the best thing is that when we have technical difficulties, we just roll with it, and it's fine, and then we move on, and it's great.
Oh, you roll with it. I have a mini meltdown. Okay, so hi everyone. This is this is character building with Logan. I brought Griffin with me today. I do apologize for the technical difficulties. But we are back now, and we didn't lose too much time, thankfully. Just about 8 minutes. But what we're going to do today, and since you didn't get any of it, is we are going to be doing Wanderhome. Now, I would like to say at the top of the episode that we are proud to be affiliated with the D20 Radio Network, and all of our audio stuff is tied into that. We're also really proud to be affiliated and partnered with Fool's Moon Entertainment, and we're still helping out Metallic Dice Games. If you put the code STORYTOLD10 into your order, you'll receive 10% off. I think those are announcements, right, Griffin? Woo!
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any other. I think you're good. I think you're good.
Okay, so Wanderhome. It is a game of anthropomorphic animals that are wandering their world and their land, trying to figure out what is meaningful post-war. That's a brief sum up of a very deep and complex game, despite its mechanical simplicity, I think. Do you have any opinions, Griffin?
Well, like I was saying before, technical difficulty gate happened. Like I was saying, I actually just unwrapped this lovely copy of the book that I got at PAX because it was so lovely that I didn't want to get my greasy mitts all over it. And so I am entirely new to this game and this experience, and we'll see what happens as we crack this book open and get going with it. And it'll be lovely.
Yeah. Okay, so Griffin, I have a plan. I have a plan for us tonight, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Character creation in Wanderhome, as with any belonging outside belonging game, is very quick. To restate that, it's as quick as you want it to be, and you find as you get deeper into it, the characters become so much more infinitely complex, with various things crossing and blending in together to kind of build a story and a framework for your character that you'll then use narratively to tell the story. If you've listened to our audio, this is actually referenced in our game GMless Games, because belonging outside belonging games don't require a storyteller. They have a token economy to do certain things that are within your playbook, and you really have to dive into that more improvisational aspect of things and say yes and when things are brought up to the table by other PCs. Now, I know Griffin has opinions about GMless Games, and it's really funny because he's here with me tonight to do it. So maybe you'll get a glimpse a little bit into it, Griffin, and kind of see how it begins to work a little bit.
I'm super curious. I'm curious to see how it works and what it can do. And, I have opinions, but they're not informed.
I have plenty of uninformed opinions too, Griffin, but that doesn't stop me, as you will all learn if you don't already know. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Anyways. Okay, so Griffin, on page 47, you'll see a list of the various different playbooks that you can choose from.
Yes. This was something that I was starting to look through for pictures a little bit before, and I noticed the caretaker and I want to see what happens with the caretaker.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. So we've got a list of playbooks on page 47, and they all have pretty pictures.
They do. So my plan for tonight, Griffin, just so our listeners are aware, is for each of us to do 2 of these, and if we have enough time to do a nature at the end, kind of like were we to play these characters, where we would jump off. So you want to do caretaker? That's cool. I kind of want to do poet.
I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to do firelight and moth tender. I'm feeling very insect driven tonight, and I'll tell the listeners what a firelight and a moth tender is in a second.
Why don't, since both of those do have something like an insect that follows them, what if we each did one of those and you did caretaker as well? I kind of like that vibe. Okay, so you'll do caretaker, and what's the second one you want to do?
Moth tender.
Cool. I will do poet and firelight.
Great.
And this will be our little Wanderhome party. Yeah. So basically, what you do, and we'll start with the caretaker, Griffin, because that's the very first one. It's really this beautiful artwork. It has a really wizened crow raven person in a wheelchair with these little gods like floating around it. They look powerful, and like the back of their wheelchair has these cool drawers and everything. I'll just show it to you a little bit. It's kind of cool. It's pretty neat. So this is fairly self-explanatory. So Griffin, the caretaker is someone who must pay attention to all the small and forgotten things in the world. Someone must listen to the voiceless. You are alive, your care is tender, supportive, and silent. So you choose a name and some pronouns, and then you choose an animal. What I really like about Wanderhome, while Griffin is choosing some of these things, is that each of these gives you a cool animal to pick from, but they also give like a broader range. So like you could choose a crow. However, you could also choose something like a reflective animal or a quiet animal.
So it's funny. I definitely want to do a crow because I love the picture so much.
Okay.
But this is what you might see me looking over in one direction really quick. Because whenever I need a name for a character, I look to one of my bookshelves and I pick one of the names of the authors. And so let's say that his name is Jersey. Right? That's Grotowski's first name. Yep. Jerzy. His name is Jerzy, the caretaker.
Okay, cool.
He's very into theater.
Okay, so after that you choose 2, or there's a next. Okay, after that you choose 2 things that you value being, and 2 things that you feel like it's exhausting to be. And there's this like a list of traits down here that you can pick from. I generally like to think that you could probably also make up your own. I don't think the gaming police would come and like knock on your door if you did that.
Okay, let me just write this down. His name is Jerzy the caretaker, and he is a crow. He values masculinity and reflection. He's exhausted by no, not masculinity and reflection. Expressiveness and reflection.
Okay, cool.
He values expressiveness and reflection. He's exhausted by friendliness and I'm torn between. I want him to be a curmudgeon, so I want him to be exhausted by friendliness, and I'm torn between making him exhausted by gentleness or organization.
What if he's exhausted by patience? I'm kidding.
He just wants you to act. He wants you to do something, man. Yeah, let's do patience.
Be bold, man.
Be bold, my friend. Oh, he's not a crow. He's a salamander.
Okay, cool. I'm into it. I feel like Jersey kind of fits the salamander a little bit better. Okay, so
Yeah.
So next, you choose 3 to 4 things to describe your look, and these are like specific items you carry or a demeanor that you hold. Again, you can make up stuff too. I don't see why anything would be kind of off limits with this.
Plain ceramic mask, definitely.
Excuse me. I totally just coughed without covering my mouth. But I'm alone here, so I guess it's kind of okay.
Loose papers covered in sketches and notes. Got it.
Okay.
Scratchy cloak. He's got like an old opera cloak, a salamander and an old opera cloak.
And he has the clay mask too, right? The ceramic mask.
Yeah. But he only wears that when he's in character.
Okay.
And let's do. I'm sort of torn between a constant rhythmic tapping and paint-stained pants. Let's do wooden sandals.
That feels more appropriate. So I just texted the chat because my roommate's cat is in my room. I'm not sure what she's doing underneath my bed, but it sounds like she's having World War IV.
No.
Okay, so next, this is where the aspect of the caretaker comes in. You choose up to 5, so you don't have to choose 5. You could choose 3. You could choose whatever. But you choose up to 5 friends that hide in the many shrines you carry with you. And each of these is going to be listing a trait as well. So, like, for example, Lilt, a god of a tosticide creature. They are nervous and or dead. You'll see on the nervous and dead, those are 2 traits that, like, have mechanics tied to them.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna. This is a big list, so I'm gonna say what stands out to me. I want him to be really into theater. There's not really any like theater gods on that list, but there are a couple that are adjacent. So 5 friends.
Up to 5.
1. What was that, Logan?
I said up to 5. You don't have to choose 5 if you don't want to.
God, let's do a very small buggy friend who's not a god.
Maybe it's a firefly or a moth that you've like commandeered, who's just kind of stuck out.
I know, right? Let's do a nameless ancient god seeking refuge. Let's do Wick, a candle god. Let's do Ravel, a god of tangled yarn. And Dulcet, a god of tiny melodies.
Oh, do you have any ideas for what?
Because between all of those things, you can sort of make a play, right? That's lighting, music, set, a stage manager who's a bug, and
a producer,
a nameless ancient god.
I'm a producer, right? That's a producer.
Yeah.
Who is feral and or hurt. That sounds right. Do you have an idea with their the shrine that you up for them that you carry?
Probably something like masks. Probably individual masks, or probably something like masks to start with. Cool. I mean, I don't just want to like yarn for the yarn god. A candle, the candle god.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and that's the cool thing about Wanderhome. It always begs for more. It is like oozing with that, like, just please give of like your imagination and your heart and everything. It's beautiful. But we will move on. You have your 5 friends. And they have 5
I
cents.
do.
And now you choose one ceremonial object you still honor and one you cannot treasure any longer, and tell the table about them. And there's a list here. Chugging along here, but hi. Sorry, just checking the chat.
That's fine.
But yeah, you choose one you still honor and one that you can no longer treasure. It's always like Bob games are always about economy in some respect, and I like this idea that there's like symbolic ways to do that. Like you still believe in and hold dear in something that you can't. It's like a trade-off almost to me.
All right, just writing this down. So for honor, I think it has to be deck of oracular cards.
Okay.
A deck of oracular cards hand-painted by an empathetic childhood friend who could hear the gods whispering.
Spooky.
So I think that has to stick around.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
And then I think that the no longer honor is a rock with a hole worn in it, gifted by the mysterious stranger with one white eye who has watched over you all your life.
Interesting. Okay, very cool. I kind of want to know more about that mysterious stranger, but we can see if that comes up later. Maybe there's a connection there to all of us. After that, you'll see ask one to the left and one to the right. Keep page 50 in mind, Griffin. When we get done with characters, you'll ask one of these questions to each of mine, and we'll assume left and right, and I'll do the same for you. Right. After that, it really just talks about things you can always do, which are like your soft moves, and during each seasonal holiday, choose one you haven't chosen before. That's kind of your that's your XP advancement kind of track. So, like, for what we're doing today, not 100% essential. Because we know what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen to you guys yet. And gals and people and theys and thems and everything. Okay, so we flip the book. We get straight to the firelight. And you're doing Moth Tender.
I'm doing Moth Tender, yeah.
Ooh, it's my turn. Yay! Lost in the darkness and the deep, the firefly at your side will always guide the way. You are alive, your care is forward-thinking, mutual, and shining bright. There's a name and some pronouns. I think we're going to go with Heather. No. Yes. She, her. And I choose an animal. A raccoon, an olm, an albatross. What's an olm?
I don't know. Googling.
Does anyone
moment.
Does anyone in the chat know what an olm is? Look, we're learning, everyone. I like this.
It is an aquatic salamander, cave-dwelling aquatic salamander found in Europe.
That's almost really tempting, but I might have to change her name. Like with Salamander Caretaker and this Firelight, yeah, no, I think I'm gonna go with Olm. It's interesting. She's aquatic. She like tends to fireflies. It's interesting. Yeah, I don't hate it. Okay, next I choose two that I try to be and know that two that she can't be. Let's see. Why is everything not working? Close that. One, bear with me, guys. My laptop deciding to be. Oh, so Griffin, what are your thoughts so far? While I'm having yet more technical difficulties.
Yeah, and not only can I give you my thoughts, Logan, but I can vamp for you as well.
Okay.
This is delightful. This is adorable and delightful. What I am thinking about as far as this goes is the same thing I thought about Sleepaway, right, which is the same developer. Mm-hmm. It's a similar thing I think about Bluebeard's Bride a little bit, which is that, right, internet, cat, friends, I have been trying to run tabletop role-playing games for my family over the past year or so. Tried to do a D game together. That sort of happened, then it fizzled after a couple of sessions. Then, in the past couple of months, I've been running some Exalted Essence games for them. That has been working, and they actually really responded very positively to the way that Essence re-empowered player agency, like really empowered players to make choices and make bold choices as well. But they didn't so much go for all the rules with Essence, which is funny because Essence is supposed to be the pared down version. Sort of feeling like they were rules like group, really big on getting big on player agency and like storytelling. And so a game like this, which is very light, purely delightful, and a game that really looks like it wants to be, wind in the willows, kind of. Really prioritizes storytelling. Seems like it's exactly what they need. So as we're sitting here doing this, thinking like, oh boy, I hope my younger brother's watching because I'm going to make him play this at some point.
Well, so two things she always tries to be positive. Everything's gonna be okay. We got this. She's a little plucky. She's always trying to be everywhere at once. I see her constantly trying to be helpful, and they're her friends and her family and anyone she comes across because she likes being useful. Now, two things she knows she can't be: a good judge of character. I see Heather as younger and very, very, very more than a little naive. She's just a little too trusting. She doesn't have enough world-bound cynicism yet, which is both a beautiful thing and a really frustrating thing. And then she also can't be properly feminine. I think she's constantly muddy. She's constantly ripping her clothes. She's a little bit of a tomboy, but she doesn't necessarily think that's a bad thing. But I imagine others probably think, well, if she would just settle down, she could meet a nice boy and raise a nice family. But I don't think that's what she wants. I don't think that's what she wants at all. I don't think she knows what she wants to be. So now I choose 3 to 4 to describe my look. I think she has, let's see, reliable wooden staff. It's always useful, right?
Yes, it is.
A badly lit dress. I think that ties right into her not being properly feminine. It's this rag that she won't get rid of because it's probably completely ripped up one side, and she doesn't know what to do with it. And then I think a book of small rituals. And I think the book of small rituals, there's probably some kind of there. It's a little bit tied up into her naivete. So next, yeah, you have a firefly, your companion that stays by your side no matter what. They sleep during the day and light up at night. They're luminescent. Choose one to describe how met. Let's see.
While you are doing that, let me just say that there's a thing going around on the internet right now about being obsessed with frogs, or maybe it was happening 4 months ago, and I just now saw it. If you are out there and happen to have been caught up in a session with how cute frogs are, this game is for you.
You know what? It was wrong. It is completely wrong, Griffin. She has to be a frog, or maybe a toad. I think a toad.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a toad. Let's see. And with the firefly, I think fireflies always helped your family. They were proper and relaxed. Since the
I was just thinking, do you get the sense that the firefly is relaxed? Or her family is relaxed, so that she is not.
Yeah, I think she's always trying to be here at once. She's always hopping everywhere. Had to do it. Sorry, it needed to be done. Yeah, I think that she's a little too energetic. So she took this firefly that she formed this bond with and hit the road. And I'm naming the firefly after my lovely dog Una. So the firefly's name is Una. Okay. But I think I'm only going to choose one trait for that. Because I think that becomes really all-encompassing of a lot of who she is and how she met this firefly and made this relationship. So next, choose one light you still keep lit and one that died out long ago. Tell the tale about them. Okay, we're gonna wisp. A stolen, forgotten, many-faced god who is in love with your firefly. I think this is really cool because then it ties into your Soul God stuff with Taker.
Okay.
And I still keep a light for them. Maybe they're even with me. Maybe I brought them along because they came with because I had Una and Wisp in love with Una. And then the one that died long ago. I think it'd be a rusted iron lantern that your mother carried before you. I think Heather got in her mind that she was going to follow in the footsteps of her mother because she doesn't know the mother that she's been told stories of doesn't match the mother that she knows.
Got it.
Maybe mother was a firekeeper or a firelight as well at the point, and maybe that's why she left, because she found the truth and it was hard to handle.
Cool. Cool.
Thank you for letting us know, Steven. Apparently there's some video problems happening with him. If it's happening to you on the feed, guys, I do apologize. We're still new to this and ironing out some kinks. It will be one. Okay, moving forward. Moth Tender. Ooh, look, we're going kind of in order, Griffin.
I need to catch up. Not the Fool, not Guardian. The Moth Tender. I'm a mailman, yeah.
Yeah, the Moth Tenders are indeed mailmans. Do you want to read the blurb, or do you want me to read that for you, Griffin?
Sure. So, the moth tender. Carrier moths travel across Heath path.
I think it's Heath.
Oh. I mean, technically speaking, if it's Anglo-Saxon, that letter goes but if it's not Anglo-Saxon, who knows? Let's call it Heath. Carrier moths travel across Heath, bringing news, letters, and tiny boxes. You wander the land, keeping an eye on these moths and their towers. You are alive. Your care is consistent, prompt, and arrives in small packages. Choose a name and some pronouns. Here I go look at my books again. The funny thing is too that I've used all of these names before. Like I've used this bookshelf so much that her name is Jillian.
Jillian. Aw,
Jillian.
most interesting I think I've heard in a while. That makes me happy.
She's a pigeon. Definitely thinking. Yeah. Now I have to choose two things that my job asks me to be and two things I actually am. So, what my job asks me to be, what I am. I think her job asks her to be cheerful and trusting.
That makes sense. I'm Hellman.
Yeah. Her job asks her to be cheerful and trusting, but what she is curious and blunt.
Curious and blunt. Huh. Oh, I already see drama.
Yeah, she's like she has to be all she has to be proper and treat the male with respect and everything like that. But really, she just wants the hot gossip in town. And like you didn't hear it from her, but
Now I don't would have heard this from I heard.
yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So now you choose 3 to 4 to describe your luck.
Small reading glasses on the bill of a pigeon, like pinch-nez.
Nice.
Pinch-nez.
I love it.
Small reading glasses. Well-worn moth tending uniform.
Aw.
Definitely. Map of local moth towers.
Well, she takes her job seriously then.
And a deep sense that you're in overhead.
Why, whatever do you mean? And what did you name her then?
Jillian with a G.
Right, Jillian with a G. Okay.
She's a pigeon.
Yes, Griffin, she's a pigeon. Okay. Choose one you would devote your life to protect and one that's in danger of falling apart, and tell the table about them.
Yeah, there's a lot to go through, Kat. Internet friends. I think that devote yourself to protecting. That's a decoder for secret moth tending cipher. A decoder for the secret moth tending cipher, an ancient relic gifted to you by an imaginative mentor.
Could it be like a rock with a hole in it? No,
yeah,
but
maybe to tie it in Jersey.
Well, that's the thing. Like that's kind of like what you do with this is like you pick up on. That's why I tell the table about it because you see things like that, and that becomes like, oh, how is this rock with a hole in it a decoder? Why does the salamander have it? He's not a moth tender. Where did he get it? Why was it given it to him? This good bad, and I have devoted my life protecting this item. See. So now there's a connection there between those two. I mean, I know you say it, Griffin. I don't mean like belittling you. I'm getting excited because this is cool. What's in danger of falling apart?
Ring on my finger. The ring on my finger matched by my confident fiance back home.
So you left your beautiful pigeon boy to deliver mail. That's some devotion there.
Someone's got to do it.
That's devotion there,
Someone's gotta
Jillian
do
with
it,
a G. Okay, so the Moth did something really cool in that their next segment is like a two-parter, like a twofer. So you choose 3 letters or packages carrying with you, and then after that, for each, you choose where they're going, and whenever a letter or package reaches its destination, you choose another combo. So that's really cool that the Moth Tinder gets to do, and you get to kind of make your own. But for the onset of a new game, you choose 3, and then choose 3, and kind of mash them together. And you can do
Right, so she has a bottle of rare and vitally important medicine for a poetic blue jay. One state.
Ooh, Hussy, she gets around. Love it.
She's just an active woman. Don't shame mysterious magic. For a cheerful young rabbit just moved to a big city.
Huh, okay. Cool. Well, we'll go back to our question in just a few minutes because I am almost ready to do my poet.
Go ahead.
Let's see. Peddler. Pilgrim. The poet. Bam. The Song of the World is a poem that can be captured by ink and paper if only you could find the right words. You are alive, you're eloquent, observant, and occasionally overwrought.
Occasionally.
Occasionally. Let's see. Choose an animal. Porcupine, rook, terrier, toad, a lyrical animal, a pensive animal. See, we have a toad, we have a pigeon, we have a salamander. You know what? I'm going to do another toad with this.
Double toad.
Double toad. Double the toad, double the something. But their name is going to be... It needs something poetic, like pun intended, I suppose. Something poetic. Also gender neutral, because this poet is they, them. I do know that. So... Maybe Morgan? I like Morgan.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so choose 2 people assume I am based on my writing, and 2 that I actually am. I think that people think I am pithy, I am overwrought sometimes, and pretentious. But I actually am romantic and straightforward. I think a bad critical review, and everyone's like interpreted under that lens ever since.
Oh, that's the worst.
It's the worst. I mean, you know. So I choose 3 to 4 to describe my luck. Stained hands 1. Literary quotes for every occasion. And then a fashionable cap. I think every poet needs a fashionable cap. Okay, so you're writing a novel, autobiography, thesis, song, or collection of poems based on your journey. Choose one I'm writing about, one that is metaphorically intertwined, and one that has unintentionally crept away in the project. Well, I'm making the poet, so I'm going to stick hard and lean into this poetry. So, I'm writing... You know what? Maybe I'm tied to Jersey, because I can be writing a collection of poems of small forgotten gods that you hope someday won't be forgotten.
Okay.
That's why we're on this journey together.
I am the director. You are the playwright. You must put your poetry on stage. It must live in people's mouths. You have to make mouth shapes with your poetry. That's my Jersey impression.
And then one that is metaphorically entwined is actually perfect. The migratory patterns of moths and the news they bring with them. Because that ties in both of you.
Sure. Yeah, there you go.
And then one that is unintentionally crin. I don't know.
One stood out to me.
Huh?
If you need it, I think this is a choice that you should make.
What's your idea? I like ideas.
I like the idea that he's writing about bigger, or that he's, writing about big things, but the trees, bugs, stars, and all the creatures alive around you keep creating into his poetry. Or their poetry. Sorry, got the pronoun wrong.
Tree, bugs, stars, etc. I like that. Yeah.
Right? They keep trying to do this big. They keep trying to beat back that bad review that they got writing the best poetry that they can. The best poetry they can write ends up being about the tiny little things.
Oh, you're right. That's usually how it works. Okay, so choose one that I read from constantly and one that I've memorized. So the one that I read from constantly is probably a translation of poems written in a language my ancestors spoke that you've been teaching yourself. So written and called Old Croak. I mean, the codes, right? So he's teaching himself Old Croak. Maybe he's learning Old Croak from Heather. They're both toads. Maybe she knows it because she's an old like, I guess, farming family, as it were.
Well, doesn't her family do fire lighting? Like, they probably would have an ancient history.
Mm-hmm. Now, the one memorized, Oh, this is tough. I want to do the family because I did that with Heather. I think a cheap paperback that I found side of the road, whose author I wonder about constantly, and probably there's probably a little bit of jealousy thing there to it.
Yep.
So now time for the questions. I don't think we're gonna have time for the sing like the nature setup, but we're gonna try. So I'm gonna start here and we'll just work our way backwards. So I'm gonna ask my two questions to your two characters from this. So to Jillian, with a G, who is our moth tender, correct?
Yes, that's true.
What is your favorite part of my ring?
The hot gossip. The idea that you'd be writing of things that are actually happening in a coded way, and that only people who know the code will be able to pick up on it and get the gossip is. I think it's called a roman à clef, like Roman A C L E F, roman à clef, which means novel with a key, or something about novels and keys. But yeah, she likes the idea that you are actually writing about people that she knows, but in oblique way that only she or the people who are in know could decode.
Yes. Okay, I like that. So Jersey, are you okay?
Sure.
Okay with the way I write about you?
No. You should always remember it is the director who makes the thing happen. You keep trying to describe everything you want about your to ask. Right, they're both toads. Which one's the toad? It was. I'm getting your characters' names again. Oh, Logan, sorry.
Heather is the firelight toad, and Morgan is the poet toad.
Got it. So, would ask Heather, when did I realize that I could trust you?
Oh well, I found you. That started traveling together because I found you because you had gotten lost in the dark for some reason. It was a moonless night. You're not sure what happened, but I stumbled across in a thicket, and I brought you to the nearest town and stayed with you and made sure that you were on your way, and we've just kind of been traveling together since. So yeah, we found you and we lit your path, and it was all kind of beautiful. Oh.
I like Logan and Heather working together.
I do too. I think they're besties. I think they're just like, oh, so cute together.
Yeah. And then I guess now I ask a question from Jersey.
That's another question from Jillian to Morgan.
Got it. Once and I switch pages. Give me a sec. Get back here. Bum. Do you think the moths are as beautiful as I do? From Jillian to Morgan.
Well, Jillian, it be understood that everything has an inherent beauty within it. And it is important for us to acknowledge that in conjunction with how we see the world. I've been writing, as you know, and the moths are featuring as a through line through some of the more levels of my great work, as I'm calling it. So yes, I do think they're beautiful, but beauty is how they should know. They should know for what they represent. And what you feel they represent. I really love your thoughts. Perhaps we can discuss it tonight around the fire. And so I really pick your brain about it and analyze to make sure that I'm doing everything that I need to ensure this success of doing what I'm working on. I thank you for asking. It really means a lot. Again, that was good, right?
Right. I love how we have. I started out answering questions out of character and then moved to answering them into character.
Right.
In character, and I love that that's happening naturally. That you can just bet up.
Well, and that's the thing, like, because this is GS, like, pick it up and you voice for this character, and then you and it constantly. If you do say no, and you, like, and there are ways to very, like, a very hard line to say no, like, aside from Steve tools, which obviously exist in this, that, like, also then further the narrative and everything. That's for another conversation. Today we're just building characters.
Yeah.
So now we're to the Firelight. This is Heather. To Jersey first. Now, it's interesting because Jersey and Heather have an interesting connection because I have that small god with me. I have Wisp, who's in love with Unite by Firefly. So, what, despite the connection that we have, what did I show you that you didn't want to see?
Wow, that's a real tough question. Let me look at Jersey's character just to like re-familiarize myself. A true moment of quiet.
And you did, yeah, because Jersey likes constant action, and like I guess maybe Heather made us like sit in contemplation one night or something, and maybe that was strange for you.
He does like reflection, but I think he's a very active reflector. I think he's very expressive, and so like a true moment, like not just like quiet moment, but like a true moment of quiet. Where there is nothing being expressed. I think it would have shocked Jersey and would have rattled him to his core, but would have been something he would have kept in mind.
Nice, like that. Very cool. Now, Jillian, we are very close. You are my best friend. Really, like my best friend. Where do you wish I could guide you, and why can't I? We ask the hard questions here at the Story Told, my friends.
Well, to the moth tending headquarters, and you can't guide me there because you don't have the clearance.
But okay, so follow up, why do you wish I could take you there?
Because I don't have the clearance either, but I wish that you could take me there so I could figure out the answer to this secret moth tending cipher that I've only just begun to crack.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, I get with that. Nice. Okay, so now character questions. We're just over one. We're not taking too much of your time tonight. But let's do then. We'll see how we feel. Maybe we can do one nature. It don't take a lot of time. But let's see how long this takes us. So character questions, Griffin, are on page 50.
Yeah, and require me to think about which one I'm going to ask to who. One of them requires that you know which friend that I have, so I might skip that one. Just save time.
Yeah, that's probably good because I didn't write that down.
Yeah. Okay. Save Heather. Do I listen to you when you feel small and forgotten?
Yes. You know that I take care of Firefly and that I take care of a small god, a lot like you do, and so you see something in me that you see in yourself as well. And yeah, every now and then when I get real discouraged, when I'm like, when I misunderstand one's motivations, or when I feel like not being girly enough to bring my family down, I think you get it, and you help me, and you talk to me, and it's nice.
Hey, that's cool. I wouldn't have thought Jersey would do that, but that's cool that we worked it in.
Yeah.
I'm about it. And then for Morgan, what do you know about the world that I don't?
You see, Jersey, you